Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Vim bringing you a weekly recap of sorts. So for the time being, especially here in Dragonflight Season 2, this will probably be the main focus of my videos. So, people do the zero to hero type stuff and, all that's great and dandy and fabulous and wonderful, but we started this like 2 fucking weeks ago, so I can't go from a zero to a hero, and I'm such a casual gamer. I play maybe 1 to 2 hours a night tops. And who knows if I will ever reach Keystone Master and get that 2000 rating. So what we're gonna do is just kind of start off, and again, this is just to get me into the groove of doing these things. That way when the next season starts, hopefully it won't be so bad, and I won't be fumbling through it as much, and there won't be as many errors, and hopefully the videos will get better as time goes on. So what we're going to do is just kind of do a recap of Dragonflight Season 2 Week 10, which was this last week. Kind of show you the dungeons I ran, what I did, kind of where I started, that kind of stuff. Almost like a zero to hero, but without the zero to hero, if that makes sense. So, anywho, as you can see here, we are starting this week at a 1399 Raider IO rating with an item level of 426. Now this is the first week that the time rifts came out, so I figured I'd give that a shot and see what that looked like. And then we just did, our normal weekly heroic 5-man, 5 dungeons to get the item, and then ran a couple mythics. So come along for the ride, see how I do, see what we ran, what we did, and see how bad we can screw up, and let's see if we can advance a little bit. That's the big thing, is seeing if we can advance and get better ultimately. So thanks for coming, and we'll see you on the end. Alright, so this was the first week of time rifts, and needless to say, yeah, there's a lot of fucking people. I had no clue what I was doing or what to expect. I didn't really read much on this, except, you go around killing stuff, then enter a time rift and kill a boss, and hopefully get some items. So yeah, there are a ton of people, so let's see how this goes. Alright, so we went around on the outside and kind of killed everything, and then it was time to go into the actual time rift, and here I am. I have no clue how the hell to even get in this thing. I'm like running through it. What do I do? Do I gotta jump? Do I gotta do a little salsa dance? Do I gotta, what the hell do I gotta do? And then, finally, me being old and stuff and not really playing all that much, I finally realized that there's the little thing right there on the ground that you have to click, and that will bring you inside. Yeah, so don't be an idiot like me. It's right there. Just go ahead and click that. You can get right in. So we go into the time rift, and holy shit. Now I don't know if that's just because this is the first week and everybody is here doing it. This is actually the first day. This was on Tuesday. So, oh my god, there were so many people in here. I have a pretty beefy machine, and I can usually handle things pretty well, but this was just lagging all to hell. And if I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I had no clue what I was doing. I was just trying to tag the boss at least once so I'd get credit for being in here, and then just trying not to die. So there's a lot of people, a lot of spell effects. Maybe I should have turned my graphics down or something when I was in here, but I really was not expecting this. And yeah, I was just lost and running and tagging and not really doing much. So yeah, needless to say, I was not a huge part of downing this boss. I can at least say I was there. After doing all that craziness, we get out. Okay, fabulous. Get my reward, and what do I get? A damn 402 wand. What am I going to do with a 402 wand? Well, I guess that just goes right into the bank to store for later. Alright, so we did a time rift. That was a complete damn waste of my time and energy and patience and God knows everything else. So head over to Valdrakken to get the Fighting is its own reward quest, where you run the 5 heroic dungeons, Dragonflight dungeons, to get an item. Now, my gear level is a little past this, honestly, but I still have 3 pieces or 4 pieces that are veteran gear, so there are a couple things that I'm looking to get some upgrades on. So I figured, what the hell, why not? Let's give it a shot. So the first one that we run is a Ruby Life Pools. I like Ruby Life Pools, especially now when it's only heroic and not Mythic Plus like last season, because yeah, this is a whole lot damn easier. We can pretty much run through and just take this whole thing on. So first one, Ruby Life Pools, nailed it. Our second dungeon of the week for the weekly heroic is a Alderman, and boom, yeah, that goes pretty quick too. We then try our luck at a Brackenhide Hollow, and yeah, when'd you know it? Yeah, pretty quick. We nailed this one out fairly quickly and knocked through, so we are now at 3 of 5, cruising right along. And dungeon number 4 is an Azure Vault. I remember when I first did this place last season for M+. Dude, I was lost. All the little shortcuts, all the books you gotta fly over crap, everything else. Man, I despised this dungeon, but now that I kind of know my way around and it's only heroic, I don't mind coming in here anymore. And last but not least, we take on a no-code, whatever it is. You know the one. No-code offensive. Pretty easy. Not a problem. No big deal. Knock it out. Now, let's go see what we get as a reward. So we come to the quest in, and wouldn't you know it, I get a 415 champion level deep rock loop ring, which isn't great. It's not the best stats for me, but I did swap out a 424 veteran maxed out level ring, so in theory it's going to be an upgrade because I'm going to be able to upgrade its item level much higher than what I currently had. So yeah, I'll take it. Alright, so now we get into our mythic runs. Finally, let's see what we can do. So my goal this week was to do plus 11s in almost any of them to kind of get them up, and one to get the crest so I can start upgrading all my gear because I'm kind of at a plateau with where I'm at there. So plus 11 Neltharian's Lair. I've run this thing 1,000 times. I love this dungeon. It's usually pretty quick. It's pretty easy, except for when we get a tank like this. Now, this Death Knight, either somebody told him he was a god wielding a two-handed weapon, or he had just heard the hyperbole of how much Death Knights can heal themselves. But this guy decided he was just going to kind of take everything on, and this was the first dungeon of the week, and man, oh man, it did not leave a good taste in my mouth. So we're doing okay when we first kind of start, but we get to this first section and we kind of all get nailed with this frontal and really just kind of wipe. And so we are now approximately a minute and 20 seconds into this thing, and we've had our first wipe. Yeah, this is not looking good for us. So we come back, we clear that little thing, and now here's where the tank thought that he could take on a hell of a lot more than he should have. So we kind of come in, and it's not just his fault. I don't want to blame just the tank. I've played tanks before. I know they're hard, so I'm not just blaming him. But we kind of get in here, and of course, the very next death would be my own, where I was just a complete moron. Wasn't paying attention and kind of grabbed aggro, and yeah, that's what happens. Alright, we finally make our way to the first boss, Rockmora, and currently we're sitting at 9 deaths in 5 minutes in. Yeah, again, this was not looking good. But luckily, we took out Rockmora, no problem, no more deaths. Whew, finally, moving on. Alright, so we clear trash to the second boss, and again, we're still sitting at 9 deaths, so maybe I judged this run too harshly. Maybe we were all just kind of figuring it out. Maybe this was everybody's first run of the week, or of the night, or ever. But, so, okay, maybe we got off to a bad start. So we take down the second boss, Orog. No problem. Again, no deaths. Cruising right along. So maybe it'll get better from here. Okay, I lied. So as soon as we finish that boss, we come out to the next section, and the tank goes into the water to pull this stuff, and I don't really know what happened, but he dies. And then we're all like, oh shit. And here it comes. We now have no tank, and we're a bunch of squishy casters, you know, a warlock, a priest, and a hunter. So the tank decides to release, so now he's all the way back there trying to run up. We're like, okay, maybe we can finish this off. Maybe we can do this. And then, yeah, I can't, and then I end up dying. Alright, we recover for that, and we're now at 13 deaths. Still not bad. 17 minutes in, about halfway through. We're not doing too bad. We get into the caverns, and then just, I, again, don't really know what happened. Just all hell breaks loose, and we end up getting a couple deaths here. The lock dies, then he releases and has to run back, and now we're trying to figure this out. Then The hunter dies, he stands in shit he shouldn't be standing in, you know, like a hunter does. So let's add 2 more deaths to our total. This now brings us up to 14, and we're at 18 minutes in. All right, we get to Neuraxis, the 3rd boss, and we're still sitting at 14 deaths, so we're not doing bad, and we're cruising right along. We're crushing them. Nobody's dying. People are doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is great. And then right at the very, very end, the priest decides to do something stupid and gets himself killed. Well, not the priest, I'm sorry. The healer, which is a paladin in this case. He ends up dying right here at the end. But we were able to finish it out. Finish off the boss without any more additional deaths. So that now puts us at 15 total for the run. And we've got about 12 minutes left to finish this thing off and still key it. So let's see, maybe. You know, with the way that this whole dungeon went, I figured this last boss was just going to be just a total fucking disaster. His mechanics, if you're not right on, can really hurt the group. You know, if somebody's running when the ad comes in, and that just damages everybody, and it's horrible. So I did not have my hopes up, but again, they decided to make a fool out of me, and we actually run this thing pretty flawlessly. Nobody dies, and we end up taking him down. And so we actually 2-chested it. Not bad. I get a plus 22 rating, brings me up to 1421. Unfortunately, no loot on this one. But I did finish at just about 50,000 DPS for the entire dungeon. Not bad. Yeah, not great, but hey, I'll take it. Alright, so we decided to try our luck at a plus 11 Halls of Infusion. This one's going pretty well. We're cruising right along, and I look down and I see that my lag is getting pretty high here. And then I get to this point, and yeah, I get a disconnection. And up to here, we had only had 1 death. There was a mage death, kind of stood in something you shouldn't have, so it wasn't too bad. But then I disconnect, and I get back in, and yeah, I'm dead, of course. And at this point, even after coming back, my lag was still ridiculously high, so I was trying to play it just extremely safe the rest of this dungeon, so I didn't want to have to completely shut down my computer and come back. I figured they probably would have kicked me at that point, but so I carried on like a real trooper. Unfortunately, things went pretty well from this point on. We finished out the rest of the dungeon, only having 1 additional death where a healer decided to run right in front of a frontal. Bam. So we 2-chested it. Getting a plus 40 rating, bringing us up to 1461. I ended up getting a ring from here, and we had 2 pallies, and they both wanted the ring, and I didn't need it, so I was going to give it to one of them. And so they rolled for it, and then I immediately got a window open to trade, and I gave it to that person, and then come to find out that, yeah, I gave it to the wrong paladin. I gave it to the one that actually lost the roll, so needless to say, the one that won it was not very happy with me because he won the roll but didn't get the loot. And I'm sorry for that, dude. All paladins look alike to me. I see paladin come up. Sorry, I traded it to him. My bad. I will try not to do that in the near future. So our next run was it was a guild run. It was just a plus 2 to kind of get somebody into doing some mythics. So a plus 2. Obviously, we just crushed through this thing. 0 deaths. We 3-chested it. Got no score, unfortunately, because, you know, it's only a plus 2. But I ended up doing 52,000 DPS for 2. Not bad, considering how quickly everything dies, and my dots don't get a chance to really get going. So, again, I'll take it as a win. So then we move on to another plus 11 Neltharian's Lair. Again, this one was a guild run. We were kind of helping out. And we're doing pretty well. We had a couple deaths, no big deal. We did have 1 pug, and that was the mage. And I'd like to say it was all his deaths that led us to this point, but not too bad. So we end up, we're cruising right along. We end up killing the boss, and then we realize we're half a percentage or a percentage off for being able to finish it. So we go and grab a trash mob. And yeah, wouldn't you know it, I get hit with the affix, and then I get hit with an AoE, and yeah, both myself and the priest die at the end when we were killing off 2 mobs to get the 100% mobs killed for the dungeon. So yeah, that went fantastically well. So, but it was a plus 11 Neltharian's Lair. Now I had already run it, so, but I did get a plus 3, bringing my rating up to 1406. I did get a cape drop from here, but I didn't need it, so I traded it to the warrior. Alright, so my next run was a plus 11 Vortex Pinnacle. Now, this is my least favorite dungeon this season. It's just something with the two mechanics on the two bosses, the Altreus. I just can't move and stay upwind and then dodge the white swirly that comes out and dodge a little whirlwind. It's just something about it. The mechanics just don't sit right with me. And, you know, I'm old, I'm slow, so that much moving and that much coordination usually does not end well for myself. So I just don't like it. And then the last boss, you have to jump to get away from the static cling or else you're stunned, and then move slow, and then you can't get into the little triangle. I don't know. Just something about this dungeon in particular just rubs me the wrong way. So coming in and doing a plus 11, I didn't have my hopes up very high. I figured I was going to die at least 27 times. Just me, not the rest of the group. But we actually ran it pretty flawlessly. And I was quite shocked. Can you guess how many times I ended up dying? Go ahead. I'll give you a second. Yeah, if you guess none, yeah, you're just as fucking shocked as I am, because that was incredibly weird. It's the best I've ever run it, so maybe now this dungeon ain't so bad, or isn't so bad. So we get to the first boss. Again, we ran it pretty smooth. Nobody died. Nobody ran into things they shouldn't be running into, except for me right there. Oh, that was a blast. But all right, okay, all right, okay. But I didn't die. That's a good thing. So then, boom, and then I get hit with another one. Yeah. All right. Again, I'm old. Sorry. But we end up taking him down relatively quickly, and then we're moving on to my least favorite boss in all of Dragonflight Season 2 Mythic Plus Dungeons. Alright, so at this point we get to the second boss, and we've only had one death, and that was, you know, stupid death. We've all done it. So, yeah. But it's just a whole standing uphill. Now, I did play a Death Knight a little bit this season so I could learn some of these mechanics, and what it taught me was stay close, so that way when I do have to maneuver around for the upwinds, and the way that those little tornadoes are positioned on the outside is if you stay close enough to kind of the center, you can really just kind of circle around the middle. You don't have to do much running. So that's what I was trying to do here. Luckily, the tank did tank him kind of right in the middle, which made it easier for us. So whenever the winds changed, I didn't have to run too much, just run around that one in the middle. And not too bad. So we end up killing him off. Nobody dies. You do great. We're moving on, and I am ecstatic at this point. All right, we get to the final boss. We've got about 2 minutes to go before we can 3-chest this thing, and things are looking good. We're still only at 1 death. Not too bad. Ads pop up. I'm killing them. Everybody's jumping when they're supposed to jump for the static cling. Nobody's getting trapped. We're all getting in the triangle. Not bad. Not bad at all. So we end up taking them down relatively quickly, and we did end up 3-chesting this thing, which brought I got a plus 42 rating, bringing me up to 1503. My only loot was a spark, so yeah, I'll take it. But the big thing I got from this was 75,000 DPS overall for the entire dungeon. Not bad. So our next dungeon we take on is a plus 12 Netheris. Now, I've tried a plus 12 before this season. We did not time it. This one we did have some gildings. What the hell is a gilding? Some guildies involved. It wasn't just a pure pug, but we did have 2 people, I think, on a pug on this one. So my hopes were high, but it did not go well. I don't know what it was. We just kept dying. We weren't very cohesive. I'm beginning to think it's just me, and anything higher than a plus 11 for this dungeon is just not going to work this season. We'll see as it goes on if I can clear something higher than an 11 without and actually time it. But we ended up not timing this thing, so of course I didn't get any mythic rating. Got no loot to top that all off. But I did finish at 70k DPS. So again, following up from the 75,000 from the previous one, not too bad again. And our final dungeon of the week is a plus 11 Alderman. we weren't doing too bad. Overall, we only had 3 deaths in this thing, so it wasn't too bad, but I did have probably one of my funniest deaths of the season so far. We're in the main hallway, kind of about, we've already taken on the 3 bosses, and we've now moving on to the final boss. And I get in this little hallway, and so I get stunned. I'm like, okay. And then I see a swirly beneath me as I'm stunned. I'm like, oh shit, this isn't going to be good. But I can get out of the way. But then right as the stun wears off, I get hit with the affix. Shoots me up in the air, and then of course right at that same exact moment is when the swirly decides to come crashing down on top of me. So I got flung up in the air just to get slammed back down to the ground, and yeah, I'm squishy. I wear cloth. Yeah, it wasn't going to end well. Even with my stupid death, we do complete it, and we do time it. It is only a +1 chest for it, so we just barely made the timer, but we made it, and that's what's important. I got a dragon shard as the loot, woohoo. But that did bring my rating up to 1534 for the week, so not too bad. We hit 1500. This is the highest that I have ever done in a Mythic season, so I'm incredibly proud of this. So we can only go up from here, right? We can't lose points for dying stupidly, right? I hope. Whew, what a week. So that was our week 10 kind of adventures. We started off with the Time Rift, and needless to say, I don't think I'm going to be doing any more of those this season. You get some cool cosmetics and some mounts and things. Maybe if I'm bored, I might go over there, but I just don't think it's worth it. So anywho, my goal for this week was to get +11s in each dungeon, and we did that except for the Underrot, which unfortunately I didn't get a chance to run this week. So my highest for a fortified week is still only a 5, so that's good. That'll at least give me a chance to bump up a rating the next fortified week. So moving into next week, I'm going to try the same thing and hopefully get +11s and everything. But as you can see, I'm not too bad. I'm 10s, 9s, and 8s on all of them, so it shouldn't be too bad to do. But we did finish with a M+ rating of 1534 and a final item level of 427. So we started at a 424 and up to a 427. So not bad, not bad at all. Thank you guys for watching, and hopefully you enjoyed it a little bit. And again, I know these will get better as we go on, and I appreciate it. This will be, like I said, the main series on this channel for this season, and then for next season, hopefully we can start brand new, and then see what we can go from there. So thank you guys, appreciate it. Have a wonderful day, and we will see you next week.